Oh my god, the host just triple sat me.
Did you see who's food running tonight?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
order.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental.
Update on my cat.
Oh yeah, how the fuck's your cat doing?
I don't know if anybody else gives a shit. I'm sure Mom does, but...
Hey Mom, her cat? Here's the update.
Bitch has chlamydia.
Whore.
Not that if you've had chlamydia, you're a whore, but, or if you haven't, I guess get that checked. But
Yeah, if you currently have it. There's a simple 2-week antibiotic for it.
But yeah, so apparently she has been treated for fungal infections. She's been treated for viral infections because the original thought was herpes. It's not herpes. She's been treated for the fungal because she had the ringworm. That's gone. So, that's fine. But yeah, this whole
cat
time
has been through it.
I have spent thousands of dollars on medication and vet visits and testing and everything else to finally get a test, just a simple $200 test that I could have gotten fucking 6 months ago for them to tell me, oh, she's got chlamydia. She needs to be on a pretty strict 2-month regimen and then she'll be perfectly fine and no longer have a problem.
Oh, thank God.
I know.
But also,
how
God damn it.
I know. She's for the streets.
She came from the streets.
She did come from the
So
streets.
what did we learn?
She's my little trailer park
What did
whore.
we
Leave her
learn?
alone.
What did we learn?
Not to get cats from the trailer park.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was very upset though. I went back to that trailer park not that long ago because my friend lives in it. That's where
So
I got the
you're
cat
not just
from.
hanging out at trailer parks.
I'm
You
looking
know
for
how you go and you hang out at the trailer park on a Saturday night?
I'm looking for another husband.
Because a divorce is in the works. You lied to that man.
I did. Just kidding. I love my husband, but
He doesn't listen.
I can say whatever I want.
Play it up for him.
I do love him though.
I know you do. He's great.
But yeah, I went back and I saw a bunch of other cats in the same feral colony where this cat was like kind of abandoned from, and they all had very beautiful eyes. I was like, why do they get to have pretty eyes and my cat doesn't?
Just so that the listeners know, there was a point in time in which having her eye removed was on the table.
It was both of them was very much on the table.
She was not going to have eyes because they couldn't fucking figure out what was wrong with her.
Yeah, it's wild.
Just to come down to, oh, it's actually a fairly simple fix. Sorry about
It's
that.
a simple fix that we just didn't think about. Sorry. Welcome back to Rolling Silverware. I'm Kat.
I'm Bunny.
And this is our post-shift shit talk.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks since we've recorded. So much has happened.
Things have happened.
One of our bartenders got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Another one.
Yet another bartender has been fired.
I don't know if we ever nicknamed her.
I don't think we did either.
Yeah, she was a newer bartender that we had, and then she went through supervisor training and then stopped very suddenly.
She went through like 2 days of, not even 2 days of supervisor
she
training.
was always like following somebody. She didn't she never completed her supervisor
Not
training.
even close. No, it takes weeks.
Yeah, and then she, I guess it was just too many call-outs. She was calling out a lot.
it was calling out too close to her shift, and that's really what it came down to. Yes, kind of some shady stuff going on.
Yeah, there's
forth.
a lot of rumors about what she said and if any of the excuses that she had were true or if they weren't true, because
right, which at the end of the day shouldn't really matter.
None of it matters. But at the end of the day, if you're calling out every week, you know what I mean, on your Saturday morning
one of her
shifts,
excuses, if not true, that would have been in poor taste.
Shut the fuck up. It would have been though,
title
for
of the
sure.
episode, in poor taste. Yeah, so she's officially gone.
Yeah.
GM's on vacay.
Yeah, for 3 weeks. She went home.
Yeah, she went home for 3 weeks. So it's been kind of slim pickings.
A little bit.
Across the board there.
They've been asking us to fill in a couple of times.
Yeah, I bartended last night.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
It was a bullshit shift. Mad about it.
I was watching the girl that's in the section that
what
was
was
supposed to be
yours.
mine that night get 5 top, 6 top, 5 top, 6 top, 4 top, 2 top, 5 top, 6 top. And I'm just counting it out. And I'm like, well, I know what and she got 2 of my Sunday regulars. Because that's my Sunday spot.
Yes.
I'm often in that section Sunday. And I know that we don't stake claim to any spots or anything like that. But I have Sunday regulars specifically. And two of them came up to the bar to look at me and go, "What are you doing? What's going on?"
Yeah, why are
And
you
I'm
not
like,
serving
"What?"
us?
And they're like, "Oh, you bartending now?" And I'm like, "No.
I'm not a bartender.
Don't even put that out there." It's not worth it in any way, shape, or form here at this location in this restaurant.
Yeah. But last week, oh my God. So you were out of town and
That's right. I went on a little vacay myself.
you did. You're such a bitch. You left me all on my own.
I did.
And
I was also alone. I just want you to know. I was suffering without you.
that is true. I mean, you had your boyfriend, but it's not quite the same as it is not me.
He's just a guy.
He's just a dude. But
I love him so much. We've been together a year. He's just a guy.
it's not that
Whatever.
serious.
As my dad would say, he's just a single guy. Anyway.
But so I think on our last recording, we had spoken about how I started feeling a little bit of a sore throat.
Yes.
And I wasn't feeling all that great. And then 5 days later, my voice left me.
I checked out.
Woke up. I didn't, my throat wasn't sore. My head wasn't hurting. Nothing was wrong physically except my voice was fucking gone. I went to work literally like, "Hey guys, my name is," it was so bad that people would walk up to me and be like, "Oh, hey Kat, how's it going?" And I'd be like, "Hi." And they're like, what?
Excuse me?
I sent you a voice note. Like,
Such a fantastic voice note. I'm just like, because you don't send me voice notes. That's not how
Never,
we
yeah.
text ever. So I'm just like, oh, this is going to be fun. And I hit play, and I had to turn my volume all the way up to just hear your squeaky 12-year-old rat
Whispery.
voice coming through, going,
"Bitch, I gotta go to work like this."
and I was like, you ain't working like that.
And I did. I came to work, and I remember.
So I said, there's lots of reasons to lose your voice. Like I said, the time that we went to the concert together, I lost my voice that whole following, 3 days. So I
Yeah.
just told people, hey, guys, I had a great time at a concert. I'm going to whisper it out.
Yeah.
If you can't hear me, I'll get louder, but it might not help.
But I determined that just wasn't exciting enough. I wanted immediately, I was talking to our server manager about it, and I was like, so I want a really exciting story. Like, if my guests ask, I want to tell them that I got into a bar fight last night, and the dude punched me in the throat. And
Bar fight with a man.
yes. And, I started screaming. I got so drunk, I started screaming about politics. He told me to shut the fuck up or he'd shut me up. And I called him a fascist and he punched me in the throat. Like, I was coming up with this whole storyline.
You're like, so I was down at the local watering hole. Me and my biker buds. Let me tell you about my night.
And server manager was like, okay, maybe the fascist is a little too far. Like, let's relax. And none of my guests ever asked. I want to say 3 days my voice was bad. By day 3, it was at least
I would have had different
audible.
Stories for each table. I would have been
That would have been funny.
jumping between I've been to a concert, or I got into a screaming match with my boyfriend, or I just had my tonsils removed. How far can we take it?
And none of my guests asked, though. Not a single guest asked me, like, hey, are you good? Like, what's going on?
If they're not a regular, they might just think that that's how you talk.
No, it sounded like I was very sick. Even though I wasn't. I felt fine. I had no fever. Like,
Right.
it was perfectly fine. But a couple of coworkers, obviously, because they do talk to me every day. They'd be like, they'd say something to me. I'd say something back. I'd be like, oh, my God, what happened to you? And I told them, I got into a bar fight. A guy punched me in the throat. And for a split second, every single one of them was like, oh.
Yeah,
And I was like,
tracks.
and then they would look at me and be like, no, you didn't. I'm like, why did you think I did, though?
Yeah,
Like,
for
what-
a solid second, you were like, Kat did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why? What is it about me that you're like,
know.
she would get into a
You
bar
know.
fight with some dude?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really funny. And then, yeah, eventually my voice did kind of get back to normal. But, ooh, it was rough. I'll never forget going to, a drive-through because I just needed to get a coffee before work.
Could they hear you?
No, not even a little. I am screaming into trying to get anything audible to come out of my voice. I almost just drove up to the window like, I'm so sorry.
I can write it down for you. Just hold it up.
I have the notes app on my phone open, just like, help
Please.
me.
Please take this. But there's a Mexican food restaurant down by me that's open like super late, like till 2 a.m. And everybody used to go there after the bar, whatever. It was like, oh, we need a late night snack. We're driving through there, right?
Right.
And their one speaker, because they had 2 lanes, but only one speaker ever worked, and it barely worked. So you would be like, the speaker just barely worked. And so I got to the point where I'm like, oh, can I get a carne asada burrito? Yeah, I want to add guacamole to that. Okay, thank you. And then you just pull forward, like I hope they're not asking me questions. And then I even mentioned it to the guy one time. I was like, you know that we can't hear you, right? And he goes, we have to respond. And I was like, but we cannot hear you. Like, I don't know if you're asking me anything else. I don't know if you're saying we're out of that item. I have no idea what you're telling me. I just give my order, and then I wait for the staticky response. And then I go, oh, and a large Sprite. And then I'm like, thank you, I think. I'll give it to him, though. My order was never wrong. Not once. So their end, clear as a bell. But for us on the other side, because, we all kind of look at each other like, did they get that?
I don't know. So on that same vein, I have noticed this recently, and I don't know if it's maybe just the drive-thrus that I visit, because my body is a garbage disposal, not a temple.
I was like, you were eating fast food when I saw you today before work.
Something that has been absolutely grinding the ever-loving fuck out of me, and I don't know if this is because we're in an industry that has to deal with customer service and, guest-facing and stuff like that, but when I'm ordering something, I'm just like, yeah, can I get a large coffee? Anything else? Yeah, can I also get an avocado toast? Yeah, anything else? Stop. And then?
Yeah, and then?
Shut.
Yeah, give me a second.
Can you, okay, if a guest were to look at me and be like, I want an iced tea to drink, perfect. Anything else? No, I'm just going to be like, absolutely fantastic.
Great.
And then I'm going to keep going. Or if they're ordering food, and that comes with 2 sides, fantastic. Like, I don't know, it seems like that
anything else is more of a, like, are you done yet?
Yeah,
it reads very differently than like, oh, okay, or all right, I've got that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just be like, okay, or even just repeat it back to me,
right?
And then I can tell you if I want something else.
I'll large iced coffee with mocha, sure. And then pause, right? And then I can tell you, no, I'm good.
Like, that has been absolutely grinding the ever loving shit out of me, because it is. I think I've just noticed it more recently,
sure.
Or if maybe the places that I've been going to are hiring like newer people, and that's how they talk to people. I don't know, but it is.
Do you want anything else? Are you done yet?
Absolutely driving me insane.
A lot of coffee shops nowadays, they ask you, like, right when you pull up, it'll be like, hey, can we get you any food items today, or anything from our any bakery items today, right? Like, I've been getting a lot of that.
Ooh, I hate that.
And so the other day I was pulling through. I have moments to spare, so I'm just like, he's like, till I had to be at work, and so I was just like, no. And then I want to get my order like in, and the guy goes, oh. Because he was like, hey, can I get you started with any of our bakery items today? And I was like, no. And then I went to like say my order, and he just goes, oh. And I'm like, oh shit, well, a brownie, I guess. Like,
did I offend you?
Yeah. Do you have to sell a certain amount? Like, I'll help you.
Wild. So something else that happened this past, like last weekend, right, is they've been cutting so early, and sometimes I appreciate it, and other times I'm just like, why have you done this? And we had the same problem tonight, but I had like 3 tables in the Cove in the 50s, and then I had a full lounge. I was packed to the brim. I had 7 to 8 tables at this point, and I don't think any of them were cashed out. I don't remember exactly how, like, the table situation. I just remember I had multiple tables in multiple sections, and I go into the bev station because I just got sat, and they had already cut everybody doing like bev station side work.
Oh my God.
And so it's 7:30 at night, and she's closing it down. And I'm crashing out. Like, I swear to God, I was like, hey, can we not close down the bev station when we still have 3 fucking hours open? Like, why are we doing this right now? Like, and I nothing against them, the people that were closing it down, like, that's their side work. They're the last one to do it. And if the hammer told them to do it, the lead server told them to do it, that's what they're going to do. But I was flipping out. I was like, I'm so busy right now. I just need ice. Can somebody please keep ice in the ice bin? Like,
that's all I need. I just need glasses and ice for the most part. And then like I said, keep like a jug of iced tea. Right. And then I can and I'll do it at the end. That's fine. But yeah, people entirely getting burning all of the ice, and then I just stand there and I go, great.
Yeah, now I
This
have
is
to go
great.
all the way to the back to
Yeah.
get ice out of there, and then
Just because you're done doesn't mean that every single, and especially if there's that many tables still out on the floor, like
That's-
have some wherewithal of what's going on
Yes.
around you.
Yes, I was absolutely irately mad. And then today, a similar thing happened where they cut very early, and it was just down to me and you.
Right.
And oh my God, we got the latest of late night fucking pops. I was running with 6 tables at one point. They sat me a 7, but the bartender ended up taking it, and you
Right.
had 7
I
at
had
one
I
point.
went from 2 tables before the rush to 7 tables,
Immediately.
including a 6-top over in that circle table, right?
Mhm.
So like kind of outside of my section a little bit. And so yeah, I had a good fast walk, you know? Like I'm like, okay, there's a lot that I need to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I could kind of feel the vibe from one of these tables was going to like give me some attitude when I greeted them. And I was like, I'll just give it right back. Like, honestly, I was so ready because these ladies, I mean, to their credit, they ended up being very sweet. So let me preface this with they were very sweet, but they looked like the type of ladies that were going to start in with it's been long enough, you know, or, oh, finally you're here.
I have a story about that.
And I was so ready to just be like, yeah, you know, I could just, if you could just take a look around. Like
Again, spatial awareness.
Yeah, it's
like,
just me. And if you could give me a little grace here, you know, like,
Yeah.
'cause, like we've talked about it before, you know, you walk up and it's like, hey, thank you so much for waiting. What can I get you guys started with or whatever? But they ended up being very sweet. But the host comes up to me. This is, I don't know, maybe 45 seconds after my 7th table has been sat. Hey, Bunny, do you need a minute? And all I could say is, you think?
I don't know.
Like
Guess.
let's just go back up to the front and tell me when you sat my last table. Was it 45 seconds ago? Because like probably it's just me out here in the whole.
Yeah,
You know.
you were in main dining, I was in the bar, and we both got kind of hit there for a second, and I ended up with both of the most annoying regulars that we have. One of them being
The regulars nobody looks forward to serving.
Yeah, one of them being a couple of lawyers that sued our corporate office and then continued to come into our restaurant. I haven't served them, I think, since I first started. Like, I don't really serve them all that often, but obviously
I don't serve them all that often. I serve the other couple quite often.
you and I see them, or no, we see the other couple all the time at BJ's, and
In my mind, they are the same couple, though.
I know, they
Like
look
I know
so
that they're
similar.
different, but it like the men of the couples, they're twins. Like
Yes.
they're fucking twins, and the women both have blonde hair, like scraggly blonde hair.
yeah, that like
and-
bleached for years blonde
Yeah,
hair.
that like totally fried out blonde hair.
Yeah.
And so when they sit, it always takes me that like second of talking to them before I go, oh yeah, you're
this
the
one.
lawyers, or you're you know, the other one.
Yeah, so the lawyers were, you know, whatever. They were there. Like I said, I haven't served them in a long time. They're not known for tipping very well, are they? Or do they usually
No.
tip well?
No, they don't tip well at all. And they'll bring in parties with them. Like they'll come in with a party of like 8 or 9 or 10. And it'll be like 10 separate checks. And then nobody like across the board, like none of their friends even tip well or anything.
Yeah,
Like
because they tip me like shit.
Yeah, you get cents on the hundreds. Like it's not great.
Yeah, they tipped me like shit. They were just there with their son, I think it was, and they got like some soups and salads. It was nothing like super whatever, but at one point they asked me for straws and I was like, yeah, I'll get that for you. And they asked me for bread and I was like, of course. And then I hadn't left because I had 6 other tables that I was taking care of, 5 other tables that I was taking care of. And he walks over to me, he's like, I'm just going to get the straws myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so whatever, he touches his grubby little hands all over our straws, and I'm just like, whatever, I can't even be asked right now.
Yeah.
And then the other couple that we see at BJ's all the time, and they always get very drunk at BJ's, and they're like, oh my God, it's you guys, and they come and like hug us, and it's like, I'm not on the clock. I don't have to be nice to you right now. I need you to leave me alone.
Yeah, they don't just come up to us and like try for a hug. They hug us from behind because we always sit at the bar top.
It's non-consensual.
Yeah, it's very non-consensual. And then the lady always gets so close to my face when she's talking to me.
She's hammered.
Yeah, they bring their own bottle of wine and and she drinks it. I don't even know if he drinks wine or
I think
not.
he drinks a glass. I think she drinks the rest of it.
Yeah. No,
But they weren't great, but at the end of the day, the ones that we see at BJ's all the time, they left me like $20 on a $35 tab. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, well,
Like, all right.
he works at a restaurant somewhere or as a
I know, he
bartender or
always
something
talks
because
about
he
it,
tells
yeah.
every single person that he interacts with, oh yeah, at my bar, at my bar, at my bar, or, oh yeah, we cut early tonight, or you know what, I just dipped out, and blah 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 blah.
But then they
Nobody
complain
cares.
about their food every
Constantly,
time.
constantly.
And then they're like, we get this all the time. And then every time they complain about something about it and it's not right. And it's like, why do you keep ordering
Yeah.
it? Like, I
One-
don't understand.
They sat at the bar one day, and I was so thankful because I was serving the section that they normally sit in. They have that one booth that they always want, but it was taken, so they ended up sitting at the bar. And then when they were leaving, they came up, both of them, and fucking gave me a hug. And I'm just like, I don't want this. Like,
Please.
I didn't ask for this. But that guy like loves me. Like he always wants to shake my hand for like an extended period of time, and he always wants to like pat me on the back and everything. And it's just weird. He was leaving, and I asked him, hey, because he used to get the steak all the time, remember?
Yep. And then
it was
he was always
never-
complained that it wasn't
He would
cooked
send
right.
it back once, if not twice,
Yes.
every single time.
Every time.
So I asked him, I said, how was it? He goes, the steak, it just wasn't. And I looked at him, I said, sir, do you know what the definition of insanity is? And his wife immediately starts laughing, and he goes, what? And I go, yeah, it's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And then he giggles and goes, yeah, you got me. And he walked out, and I was just like, stop it. Stop doing it. Because it's like a guaranteed, I pre-warn the kitchen if he orders a steak, and I'm just like, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you cook this perfectly. I'm looking at it, and it looks perfect. I'm telling you right now, it's coming back. You might as well just start another one.
Yeah, I got both of them at the same time, and I was just like, why is this happening to me? Like, oh, I was so upset, but I got through it, whatever. But I did have this one table. It was a party of 5, and this old man was at seat 5, and he was like hitting on me, like kind of aggressively. I was like, and he like literally like, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so pretty, and this and that. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna have a vodka on the rocks. And I'm like, okay, perfect. But he didn't say it that way. He was just like, I want this vodka. I was like, yeah, like a martini, because he was like with olives. And I was like, okay, so like a shot or like as a martini. And he was like, what? And then somebody else at the table was like, he wants it on the rocks. And I was like, okay, it's like a shot on the rocks with olives. That's fine. I got you, whatever. But then he was just like very aggressively, doing that. And then at one point I hear somebody else on the table go, she's under 18, leave her alone. And I was like, me? I'm under 18? I'm almost 40. That's crazy. And she goes, no, just go with it. Just go with it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm 17. And he's giggling, whatever. And then he says something about like, oh, I'm sure you're not on the market or something. This man was 8,500 years old. Okay. He's like, oh, you're not on the market. And I was like, no, I'm married. And then later he's like, are you planning a divorce soon? No, sir. I love my husband very much. I'm not
as far as you know, no.
I'm not planning on getting a divorce soon. And he goes, oh yeah, the pretty ones are always taken. And he's talking, and I'm literally, can I grab your plate? Like, oh my God, it was so uncomfortable and weird. And he didn't even pay, so it's like, you can't even try and flash me your money. Like, you're useless.
What are you doing?
Absolutely useless to me in every sense of the word. Fucking leave me alone. It was wild. Like, oh, I haven't had a table like legitimately harass me like that in quite a while. I had a table the other day. I walk up to them. I say, I will be with you guys in just a moment. I'm busy. I'll be with you guys in just a moment. I pick up the little paper that they give us to write down the orders on, and I walk away. And then I still can't get to them within like a minute or two. So I ask our server manager, hey, can you get me a greet on that table? He goes, okay. He gets it. And he comes back with their drinks. I walk up to the table a little bit later, like, all right, thank you so much for your patience, folks. And the guy at the table, looks at his hand, at his watch, and goes, about time.
No.
I swear to God, I don't know if he was joking or not. I was just like, what? And that wasn't even like the word, like their whole experience was awful to the point where they wanted the kids halibut.
Oh my God, I remember this
Yes.
table. And I'm like, we don't have a kid's halibut.
Right. They were like, we always get it. We always get it.
You don't.
No, you haven't.
Maybe somewhere else. You don't here, and you haven't. As
Yeah.
far as I know, ever.
Yeah, because it's a completely different like size. We would have to cut our current, like the halibut that we have, we would have to cut it in half, and then we have no way of selling that other half of the halibut. Like we have no way of pricing that out.
No.
Or inventorying for that. Like it's just not going to happen. And I tell my server manager, I was like, yeah, so they want this, and he goes, and I was like, it's that table, and he goes, oh my God, I'm gonna half it. I'm gonna comp it. Like he's like, I don't want to talk to them.
I don't even want to go over there.
Yeah, he was like, I have no interest in talking to them. It's fine. I'll just comp it. I'll eat the cost for it. And I was just like, dang, okay, like that's how bad the table was that the
Right.
server manager was like, just give them whatever they want.
It's fine,
do not want
please.
to talk to them. And then at the end of their meal, they stole one of our condiments that we keep on the table.
That's my favorite.
Absolutely
You can buy
wild.
those.
That's what I'm saying. For $5, you could just have one, and then it's an extra $5.
Yeah, and a new one.
A brand new one that not a whole like a
Million
litany of
people have touched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so gross. But
That's
yeah,
hysterical.
I hated that table. For him to look at his watch and be like, about time. I was like, huh?
So,
Hey, this is insane. Like, what the fuck?
excuse me. No. I don't even know how I would react to that. I would probably give it like a heavy eye roll or something, like, because I'm getting to the point where I'm too old to deal with like that kind of stuff. You know, like I'm still in the
petty
industry,
bullshit,
and
yeah.
I'm fine. I can do the job that needs to be done, and I won't give attitude or anything else. But also, excuse me? Like I do really love making people repeat themselves.
Yeah.
That's my current favorite thing to do when somebody says something just like totally out of pocket. I just go, I'm sorry, what was that? Or
Yeah.
like I didn't catch that. And just wait to see if they're going to repeat it. Because are you going to tap your watch again and say it again? Go right ahead.
He didn't, because I literally looked at him. I was like, huh? I was like, I was like, huh? And he was like, "Oh, nothing. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that's what I thought.
And like tried to play it off like he was joking, which is why I was like, was he joking or was he not? I don't know.
So last night, this is so great. The girl who was in my section, right? She got one last table at 35, like towards the end of the night. And so, and she even told me, she's like, I know that it like adds to my like averages and everything, but when I walked up with that dessert menu, I was really hoping it was going to be a no. And I was like, yeah, of course. We all, like, at the very end of the night, you do,
Yes.
right? Like, you don't really want dessert, do
Yeah,
you?
when it's 15 minutes past closing and you're
Yeah.
walking up with that dessert menu, you're like, you're going to say no.
Yeah,
Right?
you're full, right?
Yeah.
You've had a decent amount of food. So anyways, so we're talking about that, and then she leaves for a minute because I guess somebody said that the table wanted to talk to her. So she goes to talk to the table, and she comes back just kind of scratching her head, and I was like, what's up? Keep in mind, she's 20.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, that guy at 35, he asked me once his two friends were gone, hey, you know, I just kind of felt like there was a little bit of a spark between us, and I didn't know if you'd want to grab coffee or something sometime.
What?
This man was probably 35, like, or 40. Like,
I mean,
from what I could, hold on, don't say it, don't say it.
Come on.
No, don't say it, hold
Let
on.
me say it.
No, let me say it, because it's getting there.
You said it to her.
Just hold on. So from what I could see, and so I looked at her, I go, oh my God, wasn't he like twice your age? And she goes, yeah, I mean, and then she looks at me and she goes, I mean, my boyfriend's not much different. And I was like, I was going to let that one slide, girly. I was going to let it slide. Because she's dating one of our other coworkers who is very close to twice her age.
Yeah, he's my age.
He's not a full twice her age, but he's very close.
so which we've always said is fucking disgusting.
Right.
Like,
Super
what a
awkward.
predator.
Yeah.
But
for her to call it out, I looked at her and I was like, I was going to let that one slide. And I just walked away. And then I passed by him, her boyfriend, and I said, yo, I hear you got some competition.
oh no, you're starting shit. A little instigator over here.
Immediately.
Because you know he hates that shit.
I don't know. I mean, it was just really funny to me because it's like she is. I know we've said this before, but she's like so goddamn pretty. Like
It's
everything.
disgusting.
It makes me irate how pretty she is.
It's like a natural
it's
pretty
so
too.
effortless.
She never comes in with makeup on and she looks fucking gorgeous.
She's stunning. She's gorgeous. She's so sweet. She's so kind. I actually enjoy her as a person very much. But like, and knowing her age, right? Like that guy was shooting his shot. Like he was not.
Good for him.
He was going leaps and bounds out of his league to make that shot. And I'm just like, hey, you know, like I've always said, the worst they can say is no, right? Like don't beat yourself down. But I just had to laugh. I walked past her and I just went, well, you're going to get that. And she's like, yeah, I'm at work, you know? And I go, yeah, that's the worst part.
I was gonna say,
Like,
yeah, it happens.
Behind the bar, I've had it happen a lot because I can be that extra bit of me, you know? And you can be a little bit extra, you know, like boisterous, and you can be a little bit funnier, and you get a little bit more leeway with how you can talk to the guests behind the bar
Yeah.
at a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
And so I've definitely had it where it's like, hey, so like, got any plans after work or this or that? And I'm just like, sir, you need to understand that this is my job.
Yeah,
Like,
not
yes,
with
I
you.
have enjoyed talking with you, but not once have it been like, I don't cross the flirty line, you know?
Right.
But yeah, we were joking, we were having a good time because That's my
That's
job.
my job. You're paying me.
Yeah, I'm in it for the tip and not the one attached to your body. So,
Wait.
real quick, tonight the host comes up to me and she's like, I just had the oddest phone call happen. And I was like, oh, tell me all about it. She's like, so this guy calls and he's saying that he wants to make a reservation for 2 days out from now or something like that, right? Or next weekend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's trying to get his information down, but he hasn't given her his name or his phone number yet. And he starts going, do you guys have salads there? And she's like, yeah, we have salads. And he goes, okay, when I come in, can you make sure that I only order a salad?
No?
And she goes, what? Like, and keep in mind, this is our host that's not nice to people ever.
No, she's not.
Ever. And so she's like, what? And he was like, yeah, like when I come in, can you just ensure that like the only thing I order is a salad? And she's like, sir, I don't know how you expect me to do that.
Who knows if she's even working that night? Like,
It's
what?
that's
You want me to put it in the notes of your reservation?
That's what she said. She's like, what if I'm not even working? I go, let's go beyond that. You're a full grown ass man. I'm not in charge. Also, you have yet to provide your name. So I don't even know who the fuck you are. You're just somebody asking me
on the
can
phone.
You please ensure that I only have a salad? That's your job. That's entirely your job. Just say the word salad when you get here. Don't say anything else. Just say salad. Like, that's... I don't know how to help you, sir.
Imagine you walk up to a table. Hey, folks, how's it going tonight? Salad. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll get you that. Anything to drink? Salad. Got it. Okay.
We have like
Check.
5 out of it.
There's like 10, yeah. So that was just wild.
That's a weird thing.
And I don't
People
even
are
think he
weird.
ended up making a reservation. I think he really just,
He just
wanted...
hung up on her.
He just wanted to know about the salads and if he could be served solely salads. And it's like, yeah, if that's what you order, what are you talking about? I wish I had taken that phone call. That would have been really funny.
I would have been so confused. Like, sir, what?
So tonight, like, I don't get like dumbfounded with like what guests are asking for very often because I can ask follow-up questions, you know,
Right.
to like figure out what's going on. So this guy's like, hey, you guys have liquor 43, right? And I was like, yeah, we actually just got that in.
Just in, yeah.
Like brand new. We just got that in. He goes, great. I'll have a carajillo.
I've never heard of that
I
a
said-
day in my life.
I said, I'm sorry? And he goes, well, you have espresso martinis, right? And I said, yes, we actually use the liquor 43 in our espresso martini. And he's like, well, I want a carajillo. And I go, again,
I need so much more information.
what? Like I don't know if you thought you explained that to me, but you didn't. You've now asked me 2 questions and they, in my head, are not related. I related them by telling you that the drink you asked for is in the espresso martini and you gave me nothing else. Carajillo. And I'm like, what? And he goes, sorry, so like I want it served up and like shaken, but just like, and I was like, so you want an espresso martini? And he's like, well, I don't want vodka or Kahlua. And I go, well, ours is just the vodka, the espresso, and now the liquor 43. That's all we put in it now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I don't want any vodka. And I'm like, okay. So you want an espresso martini with liquor 43? And he goes, yeah. And then he says it again, a carajillo. And I'm like, sir,
Stop naming it.
I still do not know what you're asking for. So I did just look it up. A liquor 43 and espresso is a cocktail called a carajillo, which is a classic Mexican coffee drink, I suppose.
Interesting.
But yeah, I just thought it was really funny. I was like, sir, I want to know what you're talking about. Because I've had
Please.
people, or like the first time somebody ordered a Vesper Martini from me, right? They're like, do you know what a Vesper Martini is? And I was like, I don't. But we have almost we have one of the fullest bars.
Yeah.
So what is it? Like,
We
do
even
you-
have a recipe for the Vesper Martini.
Right, which
yeah.
I learned that day. But this was, years ago, and somebody was like, I want a Vesper Martini. Do you know what that is? And I'm like, I don't. Do you want to tell me? Or do you want me to just go ask? I was like, I'm sure the bartender probably knows if it's a common enough cocktail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, it's James Bond's Martini. And I go, then we can probably make it. Like, it doesn't sound like it's all that hard. And then, but I remember asking him, do you know what's in it? And he's like, I don't. And I'm all, great.
We've had this conversation before where it's fucking useless to ask guests what's in their drinks. They don't know what they're drinking.
Do you know what's in it? I don't. Okay, well, give me a minute. This woman once ordered she's like, oh, do you guys have limoncello? This is not my story, by the way. But she was like, do you guys have limoncello? To which the answer was, no, we do not. Oh, I really like limoncello. Okay.
Great.
We don't have it here. One time I had this limoncello lavender mule
Great.
that was really good. Or limoncello and something. I think she said lavender mule.
To be fair, that sounds incredible.
It sounds delicious.
Sounds
like
so
I want all of those things in a glass, absolutely. And so the response was, okay. And she's like, yeah, it's really good. I had it in Italy, and I was just wondering if you guys could like make anything like that. And it was like, no. Do you want a mule? I can make you a lot of different kinds of mules, but we don't have lavender, and two, we don't have limoncello. So like, if the start of your questioning was a no, why are you still talking about it?
Good for you. I don't know what you want me to say.
This one time? That's so great.
I'm very happy for you.
Reliving the glory days over here. So the other night, I had probably one of the most infuriating couples I have ever had. Now, I want to rephrase that. I had one of the most infuriating ladies that I've ever served in my life. Her husband was a gem. He was just a peach of an old man, and he wanted no trouble at all.
He didn't want the smoke.
No, and she was providing all of it from the time she sat down. So it's 8:30. We closed at 9. Not a big deal. I'm not tripping. We got half an hour. I'm well into my closing side work. So I save the sauces. I make sure that I'm prepared if somebody walks in. Mm-hmm. So sure enough, they sit down. And so I walk up and I go, hey guys, how's it going? Can I get you started with something to drink? And she goes, oh, I want a Moscato. Oh, okay. We actually don't have Moscato here. The closest thing's probably going to be our Riesling. Do you have any Chenin? Chenin what, ma'am? And she's like, well, Chenin Blancs. A lot of places used to have them, but nobody seems to carry them anymore. And I was like, we don't. We have a Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc blend, if you want to try that. And she's like, could I get a taste of it? Yeah. Can I get a taste of the Riesling? Yeah, absolutely. Then I asked the guy, do you want something to drink? He's like, I'll just have a Coke. I'm like, okay, cool.
Easy enough.
And then I look at them, and because it's like 8:35, right? And hey guys, just to let you know, our kitchen does close at 9 o'clock. That's all. Just giving you the heads up that the kitchen closes at 9 o'clock. I am not rushing. Right. I have one table, and it's one guy who's eating. So, like, I'm golden, right? I'm not worried about this at all. I don't even mind that they've sat down. I've got plenty of time. We have plenty of time. And she looks at me, and she goes, well, we can still eat until we're done, right?
No, I'm kicking you out exactly at 9. Of course you can still fucking eat.
Yeah,
dumbass.
But also the way she said it, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be here for a hot minute. She's hanging out.
You're going to soak this up. Okay, great. So I go and I get her the taste of wine, and I come back. I've already delivered the drinks and the bread. And so I tell her, hey, this one, and I'm very insistent on which one's the Riesling and which one's the blend. I'm like, this one, and I said it like to her other side.
So far apart from each other, yes.
Because people get them mixed up constantly, even if I'm so clear about it. And she's holding the menu in front of her face. And she goes, so can you tell me about the halibut? As she grabs one and swigs back the whole fucking sample.
That's not a taste.
And then she grabs the other one and swigs back that whole sample. And I'm like, so you tried neither of those. Great. And
she just wanted drinks.
She just wanted a couple sips of wine, I guess. And so I tell her about the halibut. We go over it. Oh, okay. Okay. What steaks do you have? And so I gesture to where the steaks are on the menu right in front of her face. And I'm like, oh, we have these steaks here. Can you tell me about them? I don't have my glasses.
No.
So.
No.
Oh, this goes on. Like, this isn't even, we haven't even touched the tip of this iceberg. And so I'll tell it as fast as I can, because it doesn't need to be as long as it was for me.
Not for you. We don't need to be here for an hour talking about it, because it was an entire fucking hour of this lady.
It was so absurd. And so I was like, oh, we have a top sirloin and we have a filet mignon. What's the difference between those two steaks? Because I don't know. So with all my steak knowledge, I jump through it and I'm like, hey, this is what this is what that is. Here's the taste and texture and what you can expect from either one of those steaks. Oh, okay. And she leans over and asks her husband, do you want a filet or do you want a top sirloin? I don't know. I just want a steak. And then she looks at me and she goes, he's going to get it well done, so it doesn't even matter. Great. Oh. It's 8:45. And you're telling me now that
25 to 30 minute
that you're going to, it's 22 minutes at the minimum. And I'm like, so you're telling me right now at 8:45 that you're going to order a well done steak. You haven't ordered it yet. And I don't know which one. And then I go, oh, what did you think of the wine? And she goes, I'm going to go in a whole different direction here. What IPAs do you have?
That's so
what?
Not.
These are so drastically different. Like, ma'am, you wanted a Moscato, which is well known to be one of the sweetest wines aside from Riesling, right? Like, Moscatos are incredibly sweet. I've never had a dry one. And now you're asking about an IPA? What?
Just hop.
Yeah, just the hoppiest, most barleyest beer around. So I tell her about the IPAs. And she's like, well, what was the first one? Oh, it was the Sculpin. I usually drink Lagunitas. Okay, then you probably want the Sculpin. I think that's the closest that we have with my limited knowledge of IPAs. And what was the second one? It was the Stone Delicious. Is that an IPA?
If I'm listing it, it's an IPA.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. yes, ma'am, it is. Oh, okay. Do you have anything tropical? Yes, we do. It's the tropical IPA. Or the tropical pale ale. Is that an IPA? Well, it's a pale ale. It's close.
It's not an Indian pale ale, but it's a pale ale.
It's a pale ale. It's close. It's comparable. Then I'll just take a pint of that. Fantastic. So I go and I get that for her and I set it down. Are you guys ready to order? So she has a bunch of questions about the lobster. She ends up getting the lobster and he gets his steak. Well done. And then for the sides, she's like, well, he's not all that hungry. Can I have his salad and my salad turned into a bigger salad? Sure. Sure. What salad?
Whatever.
What do you want? She's like, I want one of your specialty. Yeah, one of your specialty salads. Okay, well, I'm going to have to charge you a little extra for the additional toppings. That's fine. But can you just combine them to make a bigger salad so that I can just have that? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I get their order and I go and I ring it all in. But the salads are going to work before the steak is ever being noticed by the kitchen because that's how these things time out. And I couldn't send the salad separately because it's side salads. So that's the only way that it'll go through to the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And then I can hear the kitchen arguing about what this even is because I had to modify that thing to all fucking hell.
Yeah, and then they're looking at it, they're like, what does this mean?
Right.
That's definitely not a
It's not a normal thing
yeah.
that happens. And so I run into the kitchen and I was like, hey, she just wants a full size of our specialty salad, dressings on the side. And he goes, oh, okay, like giving me a bunch of joking attitude. I'm like, actually, can you bump it right now because we have a well-done steak that needs to cook. It is 8:50 on the clock right now. So I don't go back. I don't go back to that table until the food touches the table. And I take the food out. And she has the menu in front of her face again. And she's like, can you tell me about the sea bass? Which sea bass, ma'am? And she goes, oh, you know the one. I'm like,
we have like two
three
different types of sea bass and multiple preparations for all of them.
We have like 3 or 4 preparations of quote unquote sea bass. And I'm like, do you want this? Because now it's 9:10. And so we're past close. Do you want this food? And she goes, oh. And so I take the menu out of her hand. I'm like, you don't need this anymore. And I check on the husband. He's fine. I walk away. I come back just to see that everything's going well. And, it's 9:25. And I'm done with everything. Everything is done except for this table. And she goes, oh, do you guys have crab legs? And I go, yeah. And she's like,
you're not ordering crab legs.
No. She says, well, I'm not going to order them now. And I go, nah.
No, you're not.
Like the same inflection of, yeah, nah. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, okay. And then she puts one hand up over her mouth and she goes, it's his birthday. Fuck off.
I don't
Fuck
care.
off. It's 9:30 at night. We have been closed for half an hour. I don't care. I don't care that it's your birthday. And she's reveling in this. Like, I'm not being dramatic. She is literally like squirming around in her seat like a giddy little fucking schoolgirl. She's so happy knowing that she is wasting my time. She loved this.
A wild thing to do.
So then we go over the desserts. What kind of dessert can I get? Well, it's this one or this one. Our birthday desserts. Oh, I don't think he really likes any of those. To which he chimes in, I don't want a dessert. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you don't want a dessert. She goes, you know what? Can we just see the menu? Yeah.
But he doesn't want a dessert. And you said it's his birthday.
Yeah. And so I go, yeah. And she goes, you know what? How about a cup of decaf? I'll go get that for you. Do you want cream and sugar? Well, I want a fresh cup. Sure, ma'am. I'll go brew that pop for you. Oh, you can't just brew a cup? No, ma'am, I cannot. I'll think about it. Wink. She winks at me. The fuck you will.
No,
I immediately went in the back and started brewing a pot of decaf.
Of course,
Immediately.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to wait for you to decide in another 10 minutes that you want this.
And then it's going to take 6 minutes to fucking brew that pot.
Right.
Like, absolutely not.
No. So it's already brewed, and then I come back. They want the butter cake. Great. It's fantastic dessert. Great. For here? And she goes, yes, please. And I'm like, awesome. I'll get you guys some boxes, because he barely touched his steak. She has only eaten half of her lobster. And she's like, oh, could you box up this salad for me? It was just too much. Well, yeah, because you made it a specialty salad. You did this to yourself. Okay. So okay. I box sure. it up, and then I bring them extra boxes, and then I get the dessert out, and I set the check down, and I go about, because now I have some silverware to polish or whatever, right? And so she's sitting there. She's taking one bite of it. She's squirming around. She's got a little happy face on. She's doing her little happy dance in the booth. Keep in mind, I don't think I said this already.
I'd be so pissed.
These people are 84 and 82. And I know this because they told me. So at first I was really upset, right? And I was like, you're not getting a candle. Like, just fuck you. It's not your birthday, right? And then I went, no, you're getting a candle. And I'm going to drop it with flourish. And I'm going to literally go over and be like, happy birthday. And set it down with the candle all
Just
lit.
make a whole ass scene.
I'm going to make a whole fucking scene about it because it's me and you in this restaurant, bitches. Well, there's nobody else. And if it's not your birthday, I want you to feel like a dick about it.
Yeah.
Because now I'm going that extra, like, and I was so over it. So it's 8:45, pushing 9:45. Sorry, it's 9:45. We've been closed for 45 minutes. He grabs the check, to which she looks at me. I'm polishing silverware. She can see me polishing silverware. She looks at me and goes, let me look at that. I just want to see it. And takes the check out of his hand. She looks at the check. She looks at me and then looks back at the check. And what? I'm like, she's doing this on purpose. All of this was on purpose. She wants to waste my time. And I'm so pissed, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just never leaving this place tonight. I'm going to go over on time, and there's nothing I can do about it.
There's nothing management can do about it either if this bitch doesn't want to pay. What am I
supposed to do? I was set to leave this restaurant at 9 o'clock on the fucking dot, had they not come in. So anyways, they finally set down a card. I run the card. I bring it back. The gentleman, like I said, he was absolutely very nice. He thanked me for everything. And he's like, where do I sign? I was like, oh, sir, right here on this line. Oh, where do I leave the tip? Right on this line if you want. Oh, okay, and the total? And then she chimes in, how much is it if we add a $10 tip? What is it if it's a $10 tip? To which I'm not answering you at all. If you can't add a 1 to one number, I can't help you.
Yeah, you're done for.
And also, your check's $151. If you want to leave me a $10 tip, you do that fucking math.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the math for you to fuck me over after this amount of bullshit.
That's $10 on a $150 tab.
Fine, right? Fine. Just write it down so I can take your stupid little amount of money and I can fucking leave.
Yeah.
You're not my problem once I cash you out. Mm-hmm. You are my manager's problem.
Yep.
And they can deal with that. Sorry, I'm out. We don't kick people out. I get it. But I get to leave.
Yeah.
So I grab that shit and then this fucking bitch pulls out this massive stack of mail. And she starts opening her mail at the table. It is 10 o'clock. I left the restaurant.
Just like her spam?
I guess. I left the restaurant at 10:07 and they were still seated there. And she's shuffling through her little mail.
She's just opening her credit card.
Yeah. Just offers and her
yeah, I was going to say those offers and shit.
Yeah,
that they
she's
send all the
cutting
time.
her coupons at 10:07 at night. An hour after we've closed. And she knows it's an hour after we close because we had this conversation.
I would have made such a scene about leaving. If she was going to do that, thinking that she was going to keep me there after you've already paid out, I literally would have walked by with my purse and be like, bye, folks, have a great night, and then walked out the front door.
Now, I skipped my way out of that restaurant, and then I asked the next day how late they stayed, and I was told a little while.
Jesus.
And this is, keep in mind, the lights are on, the music is off.
Yeah,
there's no more ways that we can tell you get the fuck out without saying the words get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
It was so absurd. This is probably my 10th retelling of this story because of how upset. And it's like I've dealt with guests who just like are unaware, right? Or just really they just wanted to come in and get that bite of food. They're on a road trip or fucking any other goddamn reason, and that's fine. Like I get it. That's fine. Take your time. I want you to enjoy that meal. I really do.
Yeah.
But it was the look on her face.
The reason
throughout all of it. Like, I'm sorry, asking for wines that you didn't even fucking want because you wanted an IPA. You don't even drink white wine. Shut the fuck up. Like, that person doesn't exist, you know? Like, you stop it. And then from the, oh, what about a decaf? And the little wink she gave me, fuck off.
You.
Fuck off. You were, and like I said, the check is what really threw it over for me because she took it from him and started to look it over and then looks at me and then goes back to looking it over. Like what? Like what? You think it charged you for something you didn't order? Like that's what I'm going to do? Waste more of my fucking time tonight? Right. Go right ahead. Nitpick every penny, whatever. I was going to say cent and penny at the same time. Nitpick every goddamn cent on there. Go ahead. Take your time.
Yeah.
Because you've already wasted an hour of my night and you enjoyed every second of it. Mm-hmm. I was fucking livid.
That's awful. I'd be pissed.
I raced home to have my cocktail.
I
I planned it.
You also
I planned it in my head. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking have a cocktail so fast.
You called me in the middle of like.
I did.
that.
Yeah, after I dropped the check, I went outside and I called you to be like, you're not going to fucking believe this. I can't believe it. I can't even fathom being that type of person. And like I said, she enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah, the reason being that she wanted to piss somebody off is a wild thing to be doing in your 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
She'd be like, you know what sounds like fun tonight? Going to a restaurant that's almost closed and being an absolute dick to the server and just seeing how late we can keep them there.
I think she wanted to push me over the edge so that way they could get like a discount or something. Like, I would bet that she pisses people off to get a response. Because I've known people like that in my past. Like, I've had friends like that, you know, that, like, just push that limit just to get a reaction out of people. And she wanted it. And I didn't give it to her.
Yeah,
Not
I
even
was
for
gonna
a
say,
second.
you can't go into a restaurant where you're going to have, like, fairly established staff. You know what I mean? Like, if you walk into a Denny's
Right.
or even just, you know, a slightly lower end place, and you're going to have a lot of people that are new to serving, that
Right.
haven't been serving for years. It isn't their career. They're just doing it in between, like, college, whatever. Those people might get you know what I mean? You might get the reaction
Yeah.
from them, and then you'll be able to get that discount. But if you're working with servers, like career servers,
Yeah, I didn't give it to
you're
her at
never, honestly, at one point, I would have probably just given it off to a manager and said, I'm not taking care of that table. Like, I'm not doing it.
Like,
And,
I
you know.
literally just looked at our server manager and well, at one point, after she asked about the decaf and winked at me, because then it became personal, right?
Yes, of
And
course.
so I kick the door open to the fucking manager's office, and I walk in there and I'm all, this bitch, you need to hear more about this fucking bitch right now. And I guess she was even weird to our kitchen manager because he dropped her salad, and she had some weird fucking thing to say to him too, and like trying to keep him there asking a bunch of questions, and he goes, okay, ma'am, enjoy your salad. Like, he's got closing
gotta
duties to
go.
do too. But yeah, and then all for it to come down to a $10 tip. But here's the thing. She asked my name 4 times. At the start, which I usually give it, but she asked before I could. And then in between the drinks, and then after they got their entrees, she asked me again. And then right before I left, she asked me again. And I was like, she doesn't know it, but she's keeping me even further in check by asking for my fucking name every 20 minutes.
Yeah, because then if she leaves a review with your
Right.
name on it,
You can't say a goddamn thing about me. And I will never serve that pink-haired bitch again. I swear to God. If they come in and sit in my section, it is going to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, absolutely not. That it was so outrageous every step of the way that I just, like I said, I just sat at the terminal. I'm just polishing silverware. I'm just like, well, this place is going to be spotless because I have nothing else to do but to wait.
Stare at these people.
Yeah. It was just absurd. Oh, and they parked like assholes too.
Oh, and then I noticed on my way out that they parked like dicks.
And I know because they were the only car in the parking lot. Fuckers.
Oh, the other day, fucking Giggles was standing at the front, and he goes, what is his name?
It is.
And he, like, starts talking about this person that parked in the handicap spot right in front of our building. And he's like, look at this guy. He parked in the handicap spot. Look at him. And the guy's walking away, right? And I start yelling at Giggles. I was like, you don't know what people's disabilities are.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could be handicapped for any number of reasons.
Right, and I was like, you don't know if he has fibromyalgia and just can't walk, like, far distances. Like, don't say anything about somebody parking in a disability spot and then walking. You don't know what their disability is or why they have that placard. And he goes, okay, but he didn't even come in here. He went, like, literally so far across the way into the shopping center. And I was like, okay, yeah, you might have a point.
Yeah, there's closer handicap spots to the shopping center, but he chose ours.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Fair.
Oh my God, my guests tonight that was on the patio that couldn't get warm enough because they refused to sit underneath the heaters.
We're established. No, you're not. You literally have waters in front of you.
Well, we've already settled in. Well, I guess, is it that hard to get up and anyways, so they
To
couldn't.
be fair, I saw her. It might have been.
They're, they didn't want to get up, but they're sitting underneath no heater, and we can't move the heaters. They're attached to the top
ceiling,
of the patio.
yeah.
Sorry. I guess he was upset also because the car in the parking lot was idling.
Yeah, he said that to me.
No, that's right. It was to you. I was like, I didn't know if it was to you or to the host, but he was like complaining about the idling car in the parking lot. And it's like, where do you think you are? you're technically right now eating outside.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to have its outside elements.
I literally went to drop off the food and he goes, what's that sound I'm hearing?
I don't know, your last brain cell dying? The fuck?
Yeah, he goes, what's that sound I'm hearing? And I was like, the car idling right there. It'll probably turn off or they'll leave soon. I don't know what they're doing. And he goes, are the heaters on? And I was like, yeah, they're on. And you had already told me that these people were like weird about the heaters, so I knew about the heaters. And I was like, yeah, they're on. You're just not sitting directly under them, so you don't really feel them all that much. And then I walked away.
I didn't know what else to say because they were like, yeah, if we could just get some heat. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll turn those heaters on for you. But they're above this table to your left and above this table to your right.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to move to one of those tables, you'd get more direct heat. Well, we've already settled in. All right.
Well, then you're not getting the heat.
So then I bring the manager out to close down the shades, right? To trap in some more of that heat, maybe help them out a little bit. And then they still complained about it not being warm enough. And I'm like, you're outside.
Sit inside.
We're approaching deep winter here. Like, I don't know what you want from me. The sun has set and you're outside.
Oh, I was working yesterday, though, and it started warming up a little bit, and I started feeling it. And like feeling the heat kind of just in the restaurant. And I looked at the manager and I was like, I need you to crank that AC. And he goes, oh, why? He said something about the AC. And I looked at him and was like, I forgot to put on deodorant in this morning. I need you to crank the AC.
Really need you to understand where I'm coming from here.
I was like, if I start sweating, it's going to be everyone's problem. Crank the AC. And he goes, oh, okay. He immediately cranked it.
Well, we can be warmer than outside, you know, because it gets to like 50 or whatever. So we can be warmer than outside.
And it was during the day when it was like not as cold.
Right.
These people
and
came
still
at
not
night.
Be cold.
Yeah. No, these people came at night, decided to sit outside and then complain about the coldness. Do you know where you are?
So sorry.
Your last brain cell died.
I don't want to move to a table that would provide me the heat I am asking for. And it's like, I can't do anything else. Like, I can't bring you one of those other heaters because we don't bring them under the patio covering.
Because that's dangerous. That's a fire hazard.
Right. So I'm like, I don't know what to say. So I'm just like,
I can't help you.
Okay.
Okay. Strange vibes coming into the holiday season, though.
Very much. I was really hoping we would have picked up a bit heavier by now.
Yeah, I don't like that it's still this dead right before Thanksgiving, but I'm hoping the next 2 days with people kind of being more in town.
Right, and then the shopping starts, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we are next to a beautiful shopping center, which usually loads us with,
yeah,
you know, lots of people.
We're far from the shopping aspect of it. I feel the main shopping aspect of it anyway, so we don't get a whole lot of walk-ins, but I do feel like hopefully we'll start picking up this weekend and we'll get back into the holiday swing because Lord knows I need that money.
Oh God, so bad. Taking that weekend off fucking killed me.
I bet. In the
Checked
middle
my
of
bank
November
account.
when it's been this
my
fucking
bank
dead.
account after that, and I was like, oh, haha, I need to move some money out of my savings. I have bills to pay, and I'm acting like a child. I was like, la la la, I'm gonna buy stuff. La la la.
Anyways, you ready to check out?
I'm ready to check out.
Let's get out of here. I'm
right.
trying to go home.
Yeah, I gotta go past my murder garage now.
And on that note, bye.
Bye.